HCB series portable plasma flame CNC cutting machine video shooting scheme. Place the longitudinal guide rail C in a stable place. Align the slide blocks at both sides to the guide rail and carefully push them forward in a horizontal direction. Adjust the cross beam. Make its direction identical with the main body, and slowly drive it in horizontal direction. One. Align the lifting body fixing hole with the mounting hole above the right end of the crossbeam. 2. Tighten using screws. Adjust height and lock using clamp-faster fixing screws. Install the frame cutting torch into the clamp fastener. Select a proper flame cutting nozzle. Connecting the cutting nozzle and cutting torch, and tighten the copper nut. 1. Install the plasma cutting torch into the clamp fastener. Adjust the height and lock using clamp fastener fixing screws. 2. Fix the cable support bracket at both ends of the crossbeam. 3. Fix the cutting torch cable in the cable support bracket. 1. Align the end of the control wire plug to the interface support plate X1 output socket. Align the plug of the other end connected to the solenoid valve and insert the crossbeam socket. 2. Insert the 3-core aviation plug of the power wire at one end into the interface support plate X3 and the other end to AC 220 voltage socket. 3. When installing HP system plasma cutting machine, insert the plasma control center wire 7-core aviation plug into the interface support plate X2 socket and connect the 3-core and 7-core aviation plugs at the other end to HP plasma. 4. Connect the lifting motor and solenoid control wire 4-core plug and crossbeam control wire. 1. Insert the oxygen hose into the left copper joint and fasten with hose clamps. 2. Insert the gas hose into the right copper joint and fasten with hose clamps. Open the rocker switch on the interface support plate. 1. After starting, press the F1 to F7 to select corresponding functions on the main menu according to the prompt shown on the screen window. Press ESC to return to the menu at the upper level. 1. Steps for controlling equipment working by manual. Press F2 on the main menu to operate by manual. Set traveling speed before walking. Press F up and F down to adjust the current speed ratio, or directly press F on the screen to set speed. Press Enter to confirm after setting. Press up, down, left, right to move the machine forward, back, left, and right. Some basic parameters to be modified and set are explained as follows. 1. In case of flame cutting, press F4 on the main menu to enter the interface for parameter setting, and F3 on the lower part of the menu to set flame cutting parameters. The preheating delay is selected as follows: 100 units, second. The preheating time is adjustable during the process of operation, and other factors may not be adjusted. Press F7 to save and F5 to control flame 0. Plasma 1. 0 means unselected, and 1 means selected. Set the parameter to 0 when the cutting process has been set to flame cutting. Finally, press F7 to save and ESC to return to the main menu. Flame setting is completed. Two. In case of plasma cutting, press F4 on the main menu to enter the interface for parameter setting. Then, press F4 plasma to set plasma cutting parameters. Select arc voltage testing as 1 and cornering off hardening distance to 0.00010 mm. Set the penetration delay parameters according to the thickness of the cut sheet. Other parameters will not be adjusted. Press F7 to save and F5 to control flame 0. Plasma 1. 0 means unselected, and 1 means selected. Set the parameter to 0 when the cutting process has been set to flame cutting. Finally, press F7 to save and ESC to return to the main menu. Then, flame setting is completed. There are two cases to calling graphs: system graphs and U-disk graphs. 1. In case of calling in of system graphs, press F6 Graph Database on the main menu to enter the Graph Database interface. Select the graph needed and press Enter. Set the dimensions of the graph and then submit F6 to submit and ESC to return to the main menu. The graph selected may be seen from the F1 Auto F4 graph. 2. In case of U-disk reading in, press F3 on the main menu to edit, F6 for U-disk and F1 to input. The preset file name will appear. Press Enter to confirm and F3 to save. Press Enter and then ESC to return to the main menu. Press F1 for Auto and F4 to view the graph. Auto cutting procedures. Press F1 on the main menu for Auto, X for blank line and green key to start. Check if the graph travels according to the normal route. Meanwhile, check the dimensions of the sheet. Align the sheet and press X to cancel the blank line after confirming it is correct. One. After starting a fuel gas, regulate the pressure between 0.05 ampere and 0.1 ampere. In case steel plate is thicker, pressure may be regulated according to correct cutting process. 2. After opening oxygen, regulate pressure between 0.5 ampere and 1 ampere. In case of thick steel plate, regulate pressure according to correct cutting process. 3. Press the oxygen preheating button. Adjust the cutting torch, oxygen preheating manual valve, and fuel gas manual valve. Then, ignite and regulate flame to be neutral. 4. Press the cutting oxygen button and regulate the cutting oxygen on the system panel of the F1 auto interface. Due to the effect of cutting oxygen, a straight one line will form in the center of the neural flame. At this moment, press the cutting oxygen button on the system panel to close cutting oxygen. 1. Cutting torch up, down button. The cutting torch may be listed up and down by manual in any status. Manual operations enjoy the top priority. 1. LCD window. Display status information, parameters and operating prompts, etc. 3. Status indicators. Arc. It will be on when plasma arcing. Motion. It will be on when successful arcing. Alter. The indicator is automatically controlled and the arc voltage controller will be on when it is under the status of auto control. 2. Arc volt set. Rotary coding switch. Under the standby status, rotate right or left to set working arc voltage conveniently. During the process of cutting and under the status of auto control, rotate right or left to regulate working arc voltage conveniently. Different arc voltage may be set according to the thickness of sheet. 3. Press the switch under the status of standby to select and set other complex parameters. 4. Button of initial positioning time setting. The value of setting ranges between 0 and 1 second. The screen displays the set value simultaneously with rotary setting. 5. Button of piercing delay time setting. The value of setting ranges between 0 and 5 seconds. The screen displays the set value simultaneously with rotary setting. 6. Arc testing button. Press the button to test arcing under the status of standby. During the process of arcing, press the button again to end arcing testing. 7. Initial positioning testing button. Press the button for initial positioning function test under the status of standby. Upon completion of positioning, return to the status of standby automatically. Press the button at any time to end the initial positioning testing function during the process of initial positioning. The duration may be set according to the thickness of the sheet. 8. The set value of arc voltage differs depending on the thickness of the sheet. In case of small arc voltage, there will appear cutting gun when auto manual button is pressed. In case of excessive arc voltage, the cutting torch will be far away from the sheet during the process of cutting, thus leading to arc breakage. Rotate the preset arc voltage value to right. Potentiometer will be increased and left to reduce the voltage. 1. After pressing the button of start, press F up to accelerate cutting speed and F down to decelerate cutting speed during the process of cutting. 2. During the process of cutting, press page up, S up to lift the height of the cutting torch and release the button to stop the downward movement of the cutting torch, and press page up, S down to lower the height of the cutting torch and release the button to stop the downward movement. 3. Press pause button during the process of cutting, and then the system may step back or advance and move to the position of flame map. Press penetration to continue cutting. 1. Transmission graphs in the U-disc to the control system and saving. Insert the U-disc with nesting graphs into the interface support plate USB interface. Press F3 Edit, F6 U-Disk, F1 Input on the main menu. Select the file name and transit U-Disk procedures to the System Processing Program area. Press F3 Save to input the file name and press Enter to save the file in the system. 2. Setting of cutting parameters. Set preheating delay parameters and penetration delay parameters. Select flame, plasma selection parameters, and edge penetration selection parameters. Press F7 Save after parameters are set. 3. Open the gas, ignite, and regulate the flame. 4. Press F1 Auto to enter the auto processing interface on the main menu for system operation. Press F to set the speed of auto cutting. 5. Move the cutting torch to the initial cutting point. Press Start to cutting. 6. Press F up or F down to increase or reduce cutting speed during the process of cutting. 7. During the process of cutting, if the flame cutting torch is higher than the position of the steel sheet, press S down to lower the cutting torch. If it's lower, press S up to lift the cutting torch up. 1. Transmission graphs in a U-Disk to the control system and saving. Insert the U-Disk with nesting graphs into the interface support plate USB interface. Press F3 Edit, F6 U-Disk, F1 Input on the main menu. Select the file name and transit U-Disk procedures to the System Processing Program area. Press F3 Save to input the file name and press Enter to save the file in the system. 2. Setting cutting parameters. Set arc voltage testing parameters, penetration delay parameters, and flame plasma selection parameters. 3. Open plasma power source and plasma cutting gas to set cutting current and pressure. 4. Press F1 Auto to enter the auto processing interface on the main menu for system operation. Press F to set the speed of auto cutting. 5. Move the cutting torch to the initial cutting point. Press Start to start cutting. 6. Press F up or F down to increase or reduce cutting speed during the process of cutting. 7. During the process of cutting and may use arc voltage auto. If the plasma cutting torch is higher than the position of the steel sheet, set arc voltage value lower through regulating potentiometer and vice versa. 1. Installation of FastCam software. 1. Auto and manual generation of CNC programming codes for a single graph in CAM. 2. Programming multiple special processes of graphs in CAM. 3. Manual testing of single graph in nest. 4. Manual nesting of multiple graphs in nest. 5. Continue cutting many same parts by single graph. 6. Calibration. Nested graphs in plot. One. The machine does not follow graph procedures running when cutting. Troubleshooting procedures are described as follows. 1. Restart the power supply. 2. Press GG3 to initialize the file. Shut off the power supply and restart after completion of initialization. 2. In case of large file of cut graph or long program line, it may be impossible to save the nested graph file into the CNC system. The fault should be processed as follows. 1. Delete some files in CNC system. 2. Insert the U-disk into the system. Don't copy the nested graph file to CNC. Instead, directly read programs from the U-disk and then conduct cutting. 3. In case of normal cutting, the cutting oxygen may not be shut off after one workpiece finished cutting. The troubleshooting method is described as follows. Measure the connecting line of solenoid valve by universal meter to see if there is DC 24 voltage. If there is, it may be caused by system output. If there is no voltage, the solenoid valve may be damaged. 4. In case of plasma process cutting, if arc voltage controller is selected to cut the workpiece automatically, the cutting torch will rise all the time. The troubleshooting method is described as follows. 1. Check pins 5 and pins 6 of 7-core plug, which connected to the interface support plate 7-core aviation socket, and if the terminals plus and minus connected to the plasma arc voltage are wrongly connected. 2. Check if the arc voltage value is set too large. If yes, the torch will rise in cutting.